Josh Dagan was born with two identities, one forged in Tel Aviv, the other in Brooklyn. His mother, Elaine Kaplan, was a Jewish-American linguist from Queens. She had come to Israel on a Fulbright scholarship in the early 80s and never left. There she met and married a young paratrooper named Avi Dagan, a Sabra raised in the Negev, with sand in his teeth and the smell of gun oil in his clothes. Josh was born during a quiet year, a rare moment between wars. He grew up speaking English with his mother and Hebrew with his father. By 12, he was already decoding shortwave transmissions with his mother's radio and assembling weapons from his father's field manuals. By 16, he had no illusions about what kind of country he lived in. He didn't want peace. He wanted purpose. He earned it. After serving in the elite Sayeret Matkal reconnaissance unit, Dagan was recruited into Mossad through the Keshet program, reserved for linguistically gifted field operatives. He passed every test, not with the highest scores, but with the cleanest kills. Quiet, fast, effective. Within 5 years, Dagan had been deployed to 5 countries, dismantled 2 terror finance networks, and orchestrated the poisoning of a Hamas engineer in Istanbul that was blamed on a gas leak. But it wasn't just the missions. It was the way he operated. Where others hesitated, Dagan never blinked. He didn't talk. He executed. And that's why Zamir, head of Mossad's clandestine unit Neshek, made him his shadow operative. Neshek wasn't official. It didn't exist on paper. Its targets weren't always generals or scientists. Sometimes they were allies, sometimes ghosts, but Dagan didn't care. He answered only to Zamir. Present day, Operation Black Turban. The mission was simple on paper: assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. Impossible in reality. The Ayatollah was protected by walls, drones, and belief. His guards would die for him. Millions worshipped him. His death would destabilize the region and possibly the world. But Israel had received credible intelligence that he would be isolated, without public presence, for 48 hours at a health retreat near a mall. That kind of window never opened twice. Dagan volunteered. Zamir didn't argue. Dagan wasn't married. He had no children, no attachments. Not because he couldn't, but because he refused. He believed every man in his line of work had an expiration date, and when that time came, the fewer tears spilled, the better. Tehran. The infiltration begins. Using a series of false identities and smuggler routes, Dagan crossed the border into Iran through the Zagros Mountains. He spent 5 days embedded with Kurdish traders, 1 week underground in Tabriz, and 72 hours hidden in the floorboards of a refrigerated produce truck. He arrived at the retreat site 3 days ahead of the Ayatollah's convoy. The rest of the operation unfolded with clinical precision. A local nurse had been compromised. A forged oxygen tank had been prepared. Dagan had built a makeshift blind in the forest with a clear line of sight to the medical suite's glass wall. When the time came, all he needed was the signal, but it never came. Instead, the building was stormed. The Ayatollah was moved. The tank was found and neutralized. Dagan vanished. He escaped through the riverbed, wounded but alive. A Kurdish safe house took him in. Iranian media declared the operation a Zionist failure. The Ayatollah appeared on television 2 days later, with bandages on his hand. A minor injury, they claimed, but his eyes told a different story. He looked like a man who had seen death watching from the trees. Tel Aviv. 1 week later. Zamir read the full report in silence, sitting behind his reinforced desk on the 12th floor of the Mossad compound in Glilo. He didn't ask why the mission failed. He asked something else. "Do you know what this means?" Dagan didn't respond. Zamir leaned forward. "You got close. Too close. And now he knows your face." He tapped the file. "And they'll come for you now, Josh. The Iranians won't stop. They'll send killers, contacts, moles. They'll burn half their budget trying to erase you." Dagan stood and looked out over the Mediterranean. The sun was setting. "Let them come," he said.